As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Nova Scotia. Police are looking for 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan.
Unfortunately, still a lot of questions left at this point, Andrew, as the search does continue for that missing brother and sister in Nova Scotia. We did, like you said, we did learn more last hour. Now that does include plans to scale back the search efforts.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly, we're looking outside, we're looking everywhere, yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call.
Flying in someone to do a polygraph test, is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else.
Good morning. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel. We're covering a case out of Nova Scotia. We begin with the developing story that has gripped Hopkins County and beyond. The ongoing search for 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack, missing since Friday, May 2nd from their home in Lansdowne Station. As the community rallies and search efforts intensify, questions remain. Here's the latest. Lilly and Jack were last seen around 10 a.m. on May 2nd at their home on Gerlach Road. Their stepfather, Daniel Martell, told CBC News the children may have slipped out through a sliding back door while he and their mother, Malaya, were tending to their younger sibling. Let's hear more from Martell in this clip from May 5th.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods. I hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only 2 prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
The children were both undiagnosed autism, are not known to wander far, making their disappearance particularly concerning. Lilly may be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, while carrying a white backpack with red strawberries. Jack was likely in a blue dinosaur boots and a pull-up diaper. The search for Lilly and Jack has entered its 7th day with over 160 volunteers, drones, helicopters, and K-9 units combing through rugged terrain of Pictou County. Amy Hansen, search manager with Colchester County Ground Search and Rescue, described the efforts.
Searches of more specific spaces that have already been searched by our teams. We're not packing up, and we're not giving up. Our investigation is broad, and it won't end until we know where Lilly and Jack are and can bring them home.
What we understand is the family reported to police early Friday morning, early in the day, around 10 a.m., that the two kids they believed had left the home through a sliding door, which they say is quite silent when it opens and closes. So that's how they believe the children may have left the home.
The mounted police have scaled back active searches but continue to investigate with the major crime unit involvement to rule out all possibilities. No Amber Alert was issued as police found no evidence of an abduction, though the family has raised concerns about that possibility. The mother of the children, Malaya, has left the area with family while Martel remains at Lansdowne Station, urging anyone with information to come forward. The mounted police is asking the public to avoid the search area to prevent contamination of evidence, but encourages sharing information responsibly on social media. Lilly and Jack's school, Salt Springs Elementary, has deployed support staff to help students and family cope. If you have any information, contact Pictou County District Mounted Police at 902-485-4333 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Our thoughts are with the Sullivan family in the Pictou County community as the search continues. We will keep updates as new details emerge.
Well, happy Sunday evening to all of my beautiful people. Happy Mother's Day. I hope you all had a wonderful, rested, just an amazing day and felt the love. I hope every one of you guys got to feel the love one way or another. And I just want to let you all know that Mama Bullhorn enjoyed her day out with Bullhorn Betty. Aww. We went out someplace really, really nice. Look at that, an ice sculpture where we went. Yeah, it was just like that. It was just like that. Mama Bullhorn was spoiled. Mama Bullhorn was spoiled. At least I hope she felt spoiled. That's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. If you guys didn't check it out, I took my mom to a local place here, a really posh place called Pier 22. I love the place. I do love it. I wish I could afford to be there every single night. Believe me, I would. Oh, so scrumptious, so scrumptious. Long story short, we had a wonderful brunch this morning and been back at it. I wanted to get back to my little munchkins so I could enjoy my Mother's Day because I'm a mommy this year too. I'm a fur mommy. So happy Mother's Day too. Not quite the same, but kind of, sort of. Sorta Morta, it's nice to see you. Salty Ma'am, hey, Eeyore Blues. Don, good evening. Lisa, Tracy, Stephanie, it's nice to see you all. Tina and Peggy, we got Tracy. Oh, River up in the house. Wishing all the beautiful moms a happy Mother's Day. Hindsight, it's nice to see you as well. Southern Grammy, Kathleen, Jason, it's nice to see you. Cinderella, hey. Deanna, Lakeith, good evening. It's going to be hard. I always say good morning because we're so used to having the coffee club, right? And having a night show is difficult, but we've got a lot of cases. We went from, things being kind of dormant, which is always a good thing. At the end of the day, I prefer that over having a lot of news, but we have a lot of news to go over. Lakeith, it's nice to see you. Melanie, Peggy, Susan, hey, K-Star, Brenda Sue up in the house. Mitty, it's nice to see you. Panda Bear's mom. Donna, hello, it's nice to see you. Jason, Cinda, Chaos. If Chaos is here, VA is right around the corner, so I'll just preemptively say, hey, VA, it's nice to see you. Holly, it's nice to see you. Magella, Magels? I'm having a butchering thing, so I butcher your name. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches. Tammy, it's nice to see you. Good day. Kemily, it's nice to see you. Denise, West Virginia, holla girl. Halston, Rod, hello guys. Sharon, it's nice to see you. Denise, Reba, Holly, I don't think I said hi to you. Smokey, it's nice to see you. Football mom, Smokey Joe, Reba, I think I just said hi to Reba. Brown Eye Girl. Who else do we have up in the house? Kelsey, it's nice to see you. Judy, JH, Ginger Girls. Emma, it's nice to see you. Bo, Stephanie, hello, my love. I hope you're doing well. Brenda, it's nice to see you as well. Rita, dreaming blue skies, wishing everybody a happy Mother's Day. It's nice to see you. Thank you. And thank you for the love and the support. 3 months. Jules B, it's nice to see you. Mama Rissa, hello. Cindy, Rita, it's nice to see you. There's VA. I see him up in the chat. I knew he wasn't too far behind. I just knew it. Blue skies. Aw, thank you for the super sticker, love. Faye, it's nice to see you. The real me too. 7 True, Joanne, Tina, it's nice to see you. Cynthia, Cindy for short. Teresa, St. Francis for animals. It's nice to see you. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, thank you, Brenda. God bless you. I Spy up in the house. I Spy is spying. Kelsey, member for 4 months. It's not lovely. I love this. She says she loves the community. We love you back. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that's about it. Here so to cause trouble. He is here to cause trouble. I believe it. It's nice to see you. So we have before we get started, we have a case. Oh yeah, I just wanted to rub it in. I might as well do it now so we can get it out of the way. Hold on. What? Oh, I gotta end this one. Okay, got it. Might as well rub it in a little bit more. Just dig in just a little bit more. You know. Bullhorn Betty style, right? Bullhorn Betty style. If I can get it to work. We have to get it to work to be Bullhorn.
A new development this morning in the case of a YouTuber accused of stalking. Now, this is in relation to missing teen Sebastian Rogers. Jaxie Pigeon joins us in studio to explain how that.
Hold on. We got some technical issues going on behind the scenes.
YouTuber escaped some serious legal trouble, Jaxie.
Well, Peyton,
hold on. Let's go back. We can't have this technical and to rub it in. We have to have it going. Hold on.
Development this morning in the case of a YouTuber accused of stalking. Now, this is in relation to missing teen Sebastian Rogers. Jaxie Pigeon joins us in studio to explain how that YouTuber escaped some serious legal trouble, Jaxie.
Well, Peyton, a Sumner County grand jury decided not to indict YouTuber Andra Griffin, also known as Bullhorn Betty, due to a reported lack of evidence. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared early last year in Hendersonville and has been missing ever since. His family accuses Griffin of stalking and harassing them despite orders of protection against her. Griffin has used her YouTube channel to report on Sebastian's case. Now, with no indictment from the grand jury, the criminal case will not move forward. Peyton.
On May 10th, a drunk driver killed Miguel Artiga as he waited to cross the street.
Oh, stop it.
He also killed the day he would meet Marie.
Won't let me pause it. Won't let me pause it for some reason. Just thought, just because. I just thought, in case, people didn't hear it. I've been front page news for a little minute here, and then all of a sudden this stuff comes out and I'm no longer in the titles of some people's videos now. I'm no longer, can't believe she said that. That girl was out on a $20,000 bond. So I just thought, since we're having the discussion, I just figured, maybe if they didn't hear the news, I just want to make sure if they didn't hear the news or if they thought the document, the paperwork was fabricated. I heard that too. I heard the documentation was fabricated, So maybe the news, maybe they'll believe it then. Oh, am I a rich SOB? Did I pay the news off? Did I pay the news off? Did I pay the broadcasters off? I mean, I just want to get ahead of it. Of course, it's a lack of evidence. What evidence they have against me? I was in Florida talking about suing them. It's not a violation of the protective order. I use hashtags. I used hashtags, not a machete, okay? Come on. It was stinking hashtags. How violent were those hashtags? I guess we could put back in hashtag Chris Powfoot, but now I don't want to. I think we can get jiggy with it now, right? Now we can do like what was the fungal, was it fungal foot? VA, is that what you call them? Fungal foot? We're really going back we're going back in time. I'm pretty sure it was VA that coined a foot. Oh, SPED teacher, it's nice to see you. Rosebud, nice to see you. Happy Mother's Day to you too, love. Happy Mother's Day to you too. I just want to let everybody know you're free to hashtag, okay? I'm pretty sure he called it fungal. It was maybe fungus foot. No, I think it was fungal foot. I had so many. I know he did. They were rolling off the tongue. No doubt. So, I hope all you beautiful moms out there had a wonderful day. And for those that don't have their children with them, I hope you guys had great memories and just an all over beautiful day. I gotta be honest with you. Here in Bradenton, it was rainy outside. It was but I loved it because even when we were at the restaurant, you looked out the door or out the window, we had a water view. And right out the window for our water view was this tree that they had like the lights all around it and stuff. So you could actually see the lights. Dumbfoot. Did you like that, Mama Rissa? It was a hashtag, not a machete. Or maybe I should have said, not a machete. I don't know where that came from. That was the funny. Well, it wasn't really funny for me until after the E's made the karate machete video. Then once it was all pulled together, then it was stinking hilarious. Happy Mother's Day, Betty. Sure, you and Delilah had a great day together. We did, and she's all warmy and toasty and hanging out with me. She doesn't want to come out. She hid. But yes, we kind of had it. We had a beautiful day. She went out and played ball in the yard, and I just gave her a bath. And of course, it being a little wet outside, I had to watch her, But she ended up being a little muddy. So next thing you know, I got a new bedspread and sheets on the bed. It wasn't too bad, but I don't sleep in sand. Just saying. I'm not sure about you. I love my animals, and yes, my animal lives in bed with me. But if I wanted to sleep in the dirt, I'd sleep out. I would just camp out in the, tent or something. So we got a fresh sheet, fresh sheets and blanket on the bed. It's nice and cozy. Nothing like fresh sheets, right? Nothing like fresh sheets. Lots of great things happened this week. We got this news here, with the whole indictment. Got fresh sheets on the bed, took Mom to a swanky brunch, spent the rest of the day with my little pocket pup, because this is my first year being a fur baby mommy Mother's Day. So Be Betty fans sent me a huge box of goodies, so you guys will never miss me. I'm going to be the lady that's big as a house, that's going to be walking down the road to a crime scene near you. You know what I think it is? I think B Betty I think the problem is B Betty says, I'm just too short. She just wants to make sure everybody can see me. And so she sends me these goodie boxes so I'll be a little more visible from outer space, I'm thinking. I don't know. You're going to have to ask her. B Betty fan likes to send treats. She sure does, but she hits it out of the park. She does. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that. Thank you. So the case, that's right. Did it drop? It did drop. Son of a gun. So the first case we have, that's not it. There we go. That we have to talk about tonight is Stacy Johnson. I'm not going to spend a whole lot on it. It's a new case. I don't know too much about it. But like many of our other cases, when we start, we usually just run a little show about it so people can be aware of the case. Now, Stacy has been missing for a little while. Not too bad, but she's been missing since the middle of April. And middle to later in April. I think some people heard from her, but some weird texts came about April 21st that didn't sound like her. The weird thing is, and it's not weird because my aunt and uncle did, oh, thank you, Kelly. God bless you for that. Happy Mother's Day to you too. She's a traveling nurse, and my aunt and uncle did this for quite some time themselves before they ended up selling everything and getting on their, huge sailboat and sailing around the world. But they did this whole, traveling nurse. My aunt was an RN. My uncle was a physical therapist. And it really worked well for them. And they were able to travel all over this country and vacation in different areas and stay there for, 4, 6, 8 months at a time, depending on when their contract was. So this is a similar situation because Stacy does a similar type of situation where she's a traveling nurse. She goes to different places and takes contracts. But there were some weird things that I'm reading about this case, which is not really on this flyer. And it's some statements that she has made because law enforcement has already reached out to her. And now that I'm hearing some of the stuff that she made, some statements she made to law enforcement, it's making me wonder if somebody hasn't been using law enforcement to track her down. And if maybe one of the reasons why she's a traveling nurse is because she's in fear for her safety. And now she is completely gone off the radar, which is very concerning. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to read her flyer. Let me get this a little bit bigger. Hopefully you guys can see it on here. It's from the Nelson County Sheriff's Office. Why won't it let me go? It won't let me move up at all? Good gracious. This thing's so finicky. This thing's so finicky. Okay, so let me get back down. I'll just read what it says here. The Nelson County Sheriff's Office and multiple law enforcement agencies are attempting to locate 51-year-old Stacy Johnson. Stacy was as a traveling nurse, accepted a contract in Oregon, but failed to show up for work. Stacy checked into a hotel in Wendover, Utah on April 12th, 2025, and was there until April 19th. The last time she spoke with her daughter via telephone was April 14th. The last time she spoke with anybody via phone was on April 19th, and since that was the last phone call, she only sent 2 very short texts on April 21st, which did not sound like her from her typing. She hasn't been active on social media, which is out of character for her. She was driving a 2025 Kia Sportage dark gray with Kentucky license plate. The phone was last pinged in Texas on April 21st. That's the last time it rang through. And on April 22nd, the next day, her vehicle was last seen on I-10 in Alabama, heading east towards Florida. So, again, with the traveling nurse situation, it does have its issues with that in and of itself. But this next statement, which is in an article, so it's in an article based upon body cam footage. And this is what's really leading me to believe that this lady may have a little more going on in her world. And on the surface of it, hearing the story she's saying is unbelievable. But now, in light of her not being around and nobody being able to locate her, seems a little eerie. So let me get into that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Whoops. Why isn't it not going down? Okay, there we go. It says right here, this is in Wendover, Utah. So they did make contact with her in Wendover, Utah. So they're basically saying she's on that side. She was going to an Oregon job. However, the last time they seen her car was going from Alabama toward Florida. And that's how I picked it up, is because the relation to Florida. But I've had it sitting for a few days now. Anyway, Stacy Johnson, a traveling nurse, was reported missing out of Nelson County, Kentucky on May 7th, 2025, but had contact with Wendover police while staying at a hotel in mid-April. According to the Wendover City Police Department, police contacted Stacy Ann Johnson on April 13th, 2025 at a local motel to perform a wellness check on a female individual in the hotel room. During the interaction with police, the police mentioned getting a phone call from an officer in Nebraska to check on Johnson. Johnson spoke with police about her relationship with people, including her spouse, who recently sent divorce papers. She mentioned this person was part of a group with lots and lots of money and lots of power, and many people. I think it meant so many people that you could just disappear. You don't come back. I'm not one of those people. I'm not just going to let him unalive me off without a fight, said Johnson to the police. So she's making these statements to police. And police, you got to understand, do hear statements like this. It's not uncommon. And usually when they're made like this, it's people that are paranoid or have other problems. A lot of them really don't pan out. So you don't you can't really fault law enforcement for getting this information and not really doing anything about it. They have heard this. It wouldn't surprise me if they hear this a few times a month from somebody, okay? But in some cases, the information could very well be real. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little hard here because I'm upset that it doesn't seem like anything happened, but in the same sense, I kind of understand why and how it could not happen because, things like this do happen very, quite frequently, especially with people that have mental health issues. So she's telling this officer that she's worried about someone. It doesn't seem like it's too clear who is trying to potentially unalive her. Johnson spoke with police while veering off into various parts of her life, including work and upcoming traveling nurse job in Oregon. She felt like the job offer was a setup and seemed too good to be true. So she had already spoke to law enforcement about this Oregon job as well. What I was told is that you feel in danger, said the officer to Johnson. It ain't just one person, it's a club. So apparently I married into this club and I know something wasn't normal, said Johnson. They told me they pay off the police department in this town. That's why I felt like I didn't need to call this department. Johnson continued to speak with police about an apparent incident where somebody tried to run her off the road just outside of Wendover. I feel like my life matters, Johnson said to the police. I'm going to put your mind at ease, said the officer. Someone will know if you go missing because we're talking to you. So we're going to create a paper trail. So we're going to create our police report. Then we'll have that start so we know where you're at. Johnson claimed she reset her phone as she was coming into Wendover. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, said Johnson when officers pressed her about additional information on multiple men. Johnson saying was after her. They're here to either get me arrested or get me unalive, she said. At the end of the interaction, officers discussed Johnson's vehicle and asked her to consent to the search. Johnson was basically concerned somebody was going to plant something in her car. I don't really need you to check up on me, said Johnson toward the end of the conversation. I want you to know, check back up on your report. Make sure it doesn't disappear. Just check back periodically and make sure your report is still there. Police spoke with Johnson for roughly 30 minutes and determined she was not in any danger. And now, of course, she is missing. So I'm going to put her face back up here just in case you guys have seen her story. It is a little concerning. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Stacey Johnson's story is a little concerning. So if anybody, and there's no telling where she's at because she's a traveling nurse. She's got ties to Alabama, Texas, Florida, Oregon, Utah, you name it. She's got ties to it right now. So this really is for the Bullhorn Betty channel because we have so many people for so many different states in this chat. If you are here and you haven't been able to sub up or you have not been able to comment in the chat, you'll need to sub up for at least a day before you'll be able to comment in the chat. So if you haven't subbed up, please consider hitting that sub up button. Please consider hitting that sub up button. Okay, so we're kind of done with that topic. I just wanted to spend a few moments on Stacey. So if anybody may have had any information, they could, spread awareness for her case. And we're going to be going into the Sebastian Rogers case just briefly. And then we're going to jump into Lilly and Jack's case. And the reason why I'm waiting for Lilly and Jack's case toward the end is because there is some information that may there might be some information that could imply that these children may have wandered off, and we're going to go through that information as well, just so we have both sides of the aisle, because obviously some of the behaviors that the mom and stepfather are exhibiting, obviously we're thinking are red flaggish, and that could be because maybe they feel guilty about something. So there is another possible theory that hasn't been totally eliminated yet, and one of the reasons why I'm not going all in on this mom and stepfather, because I'm still on the fence on what I feel really has happened, other than I feel like they may know a little more or something's going on here. I really don't know what it is when it comes to Lilly and Jack's case, which is a little different than the case of Sebastian Rogers. And if you guys don't know about that case, he's now 16 years old, but he disappeared when he was 15 years old on February 26th. At least that's when he was reported missing. And the details of that case is he had a day out on Sunday with just his mother. His mother was the only one staying with him at the home at the time, as his stepfather was 3.5 hours away in Horn Lake, Mississippi, where his camper was, and he worked at a Memphis project at St. Jude's, where he did tower crane type of skilled labor out there on the St. Jude's project. So it made it a little bit difficult for him to come home. However, his mother was fully capable. She is military trained. She's been trained in MMA fighting, and there was no indication, and nobody has ever stated otherwise. But the house was not broken into, had no forced entry. All the doors and windows were all locked throughout the home. And so that left many people to, side-eye the parents a little bit. But it wasn't until they started making statements about this case that people started seeing the glaring inconsistencies in their statement. Because your last time seeing a child, you should have, know exactly what happened and when it happened. It's the last time you saw him. And especially now that it's been well over a year, there should be no inconsistencies in those statements, because law enforcement would have had a timeline. There should be a timeline, a very, very, very specific timeline, that they should know exactly what they did when they did it. And the problem is now that we're this far in, we just had a new Dateline, out, and it looks like they're trying article out. And it looks like they're trying to take from Katie being up until midnight to her going to bed at 11, which I don't see how they're going to be able to stretch that, because for over a year they've said midnight. She was in bed by midnight and asleep at midnight. So for that now to be 11 instead of midnight would be very, very a huge difference, a huge difference. But I digress. One of the people that I was reading about had made a point, and it's called, this person, it's a public post on X, and it's from None Your Business, I think, is it? None of Your Business. And it says, so Chris Proudfoot can show up as a witness for this crackpot out of Texas and drag Seth a little more. Why false CPS reports are flying, but the Proudfoots are innocent? ? I think not. The truth isn't going anywhere. No matter how aggressive Pigfoot is. Where is Sebastian Rogers, abusive pig? But brings up a valid point about how these parents, and I think it's a great point to point out that they spent more time trying to use me as a distraction than they have putting forth to try to find their son, one that disappeared from inside of their locked home. They're very much locked home. And then to show up as a witness for this horrendous lady that is just awful, right? And doesn't mind lying to boot. We all know the truth, and we know she's lying and using the courts to hurt Seth. But it seems like they can show up for all of this to cause pain to everybody that's trying to search for Sebastian, including multiple court hearings for me. But they have never gone to one vigil for him. They've never created one search party for him. They've never done one, they haven't done anything, not one of anything for Sebastian, but they can do all of this other stuff, including showing up to court for these despicable people to hurt a father that they have already hurt so much with what they've done to, in my opinion, to Sebastian Wayne-Drake Rogers. And so I found that awfully weird. And not only that, but did you know that Tennessee knows exactly how to get to people? If people are truly missing, no matter what the terrain, they have the ability to get to them. They have the ability to find the ones that are lost and bring them home safely. So the ones that aren't out there, the ones that they can't get to, the ones that they can't find, there's more going on. And why can I say that? Because they can rescue. They know how to find people that truly are lost and need to be found. This was one in Pigeon Forge. A lady was hiking and she fractured her leg, and they ended up having to find her through rough terrain. Two of the rangers got there, I believe, a night, and they had to stay with her to keep her stabilized through the night in order to get her out. And they were able to walk her out, get one of those stretcher things at gurneys and walk her out several miles before they were able to get her with a helicopter and get her to a hospital. So a very, very heroic type of recovery. So we know that Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, has the ability to rescue people. They have, we can go on TBI's website and see that they have the ability to bring people home. So if they have the ability to bring people home and they know how to rescue people that are hurt, what about the ones that aren't being found? Well, we have to think really long and hard about that, because Tennessee does have the ability to do these things. So why in several cases do they not? Because there's more going on there than meets the eye. And typically it's somebody being hidden, in some way, shape, or form being hidden. Now, this is also interesting. I'm going to turn this over to Matt Thibodeau. He's very well known on TikTok. If you guys have a TikTok channel, please go up and hit him up. I believe he may have a channel here on YouTube. I can't remember, but if he does, I need to sign up for. So if you ever see a channel from him on here, just let me know so I can sign up for him. But this is a pretty interesting perspective, and we haven't brought it up before either. And I think you guys need to listen. Did we miss something? It's possible.
Morning, everyone. So I was listening to a little bit of Crime Time Buzz last night, and she brought up a really, really good point, a point that I had not thought of before. She mentions the fact that Katie Proudfoot got up on the morning of February 26, 2024, to get Sebastian up and ready for school. She said that she realized that he was not there. She checked all around the house, called out to him, and then got in her car and then drove around the neighborhood to go and look for him. Now, what's the issue with that? Take a listen.
We've included looking in closets, other side of the bed, all closets in the house, in and around the house, the bathroom, the kitchen. Never mentions the garage.
Now, a lot of people tend to believe that if Sebastian got home from the Texas Roadhouse on the night of February 25th, that the only way that he would have been able to get out of the house without triggering any Ring cameras, any lights, is if he was put in Katie's vehicle and brought somewhere else by way of that attached garage. Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot have never talked about their garage willingly in any interview. They've been asked questions about their garage, but they've never come out on their own to talk about their garage, searching their garage, anything pertaining to the garage without being prompted to. And Crime Time Buzz seems to think that there's a reason why they have not talked about the garage on their own, why Katie did not search the garage on their own. Because one, inside, she knew that Sebastian was in the garage somehow, and two, possibly bringing up the garage could be a trigger because mentally, that garage is connected to something that they, both she and Chris, do not want to talk about or think about. They are omitting information, arguably, because they don't want people to hone in on the garage. And yeah, I do think it's odd that Katie didn't say that she checked the garage because Sebastian had apparently hidden under a neighbor's vehicle at one time. Now, Katie and Chris claim that they had no idea of that incident, but if you're checking everywhere in the home, you would want to check that garage, look through the car, look under the car. Again, if Katie and Chris Proudfoot are involved in Sebastian's disappearance to any capacity, omitting information pertaining to the garage would make complete sense. Omitting information during an investigation can significantly hinder the pursuit of truth and justice. It's a common tactic used by those who have something to hide, as it allows them to present a seemingly truthful account while concealing crucial details. And here's a list of reasons why omission is a problem. You can pause to read if you'd like. This is just my thought process after that information was brought to my attention. What are you guys thinking? Obviously, there.
And I have to agree with Matt on several fronts. Not only did she not speak about going into the garage or checking the garage, and just like Holly, or excuse me, Magels. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. I can say it Meganels, but I don't think that's what it is. I don't know. But, you know, they have a loft above the garage, too. And moreover, he said one thing fleeting, and I didn't hear it the first time, but I heard it this time. And it was, she never talked about searching the garage or her vehicle. Under the vehicle, in the vehicle, you know, those types of things. Which I also, you know, to be honest with you, that is odd. Why wouldn't she have checked those things before hopping into it and driving all over or under the vehicle? Now, I did hear that the Megan Els. Okay, so Megan. All right, thanks for letting me know that. That'll help me at least not butcher your poor name. Time to put a new detective on Sebastian's case if they really have no leads. I agree, but one thing I think we can identify, at least in a lot of the counties that we've worked in, is these law enforcement, they allow their, in my opinion, their egos and arrogance to get in the way. And they do it all the time because they don't want anybody else doing this. They don't want giving this person credit. And then there's another flip side to that too, is I truly believe these counties are broke. I think there's a lot of mismanagement from the top down in Tennessee. I think it's getting worked on. I think Bill Lee is working very hard. But there's a lot of mismanagement in Tennessee, and I truly think it hinders the prosecution of some of these cases, because I can never understand why they won't take certain cases to court, you know, like the low-hanging fruit cases. And that's kind of giving me this clear indicator that it's possible the counties don't want to spend the money for multiple trials. And I'm one of those people, the hell with it. Multiple trials, if that's what you get, that's what you get. You know? Instead of just letting people knowingly let bad people just walk the grounds when you don't have enough evidence for one cause, but you have enough evidence for another, get them in court. Take whatever you can do. But I digress on that front. So I think that's interesting, and we might want to explore the whole garage thing a little bit more. Now, we know there's a secret door, but nobody knows if it has access to inside the house, which again is another critical issue for me that I've been trying to find out, because I've been trying to look for a way for them to get on that side of the house unobscured. Like they weren't really on a lot of cameras. You don't see anybody walking from the front of the house to the back. You see them kind of coming from that side and through the common area. And when you look over there, there is something there, but it's the crawl space, and it appears to be a large crawl space. But if it doesn't have access to the house, then that's not where they came from. And there may be another place that they came out of. So anyways, that's what we have so far on the Sebastian Rogers case. There's no updates. He has not been found. There was a sighting or a potential sighting of him that, my understanding, did not pan out. It was not Sebastian Rogers. The fight still goes on. I'm still very thankful that people are keeping an eye out and people are still sending sightings in for him. But there's been nothing that has panned out when it comes to Sebastian Rogers. Right now, we just have a boy that walked into his house and allegedly just poof, was gone, just evaporated into air. And so I don't know too much about that, or how or why. But I just know that something doesn't seem right. And I don't believe that he walked out of the house without his shoes, without a jacket, or without any of his personal belongings, intentionally running away from home. I just don't see that being the case. All right, guys, we're going to be moving on to the next case, which is Lilly and Jack Sullivan. These are the two siblings out of Canada, Nova Scotia, Canada, and they've been missing since May 2nd, and nobody knows what has happened. So we're going to start out with this Facebook post that I found talking about some stuff. Again, the stuff I'm reading on here, I cannot guarantee as being factual, but I do believe is interesting. And I wanted to share that with you. And that's this post here. And I got a couple posts that I'm going to be sharing with you this evening. And this is from Maritime Happenings. For context, here are aerial photos of the property that Lilly 6 and Jack 4 were reported to have wandered off from, as their mother and her boyfriend slept on Friday morning of last week. There are 2 dwellings occupied on the property. The home that Daniel, Mom, Baby, Lilly, and Jack occupy has a blue siding on the back and the fenced yard, white on one side facing the road. The silent sliding door that they reportedly left by is on the back of the house on the blue side. They also have chickens, so there's a coop with the enclosure, a camper trailer where Daniel's mother resides, providing these photos for context, as there have been questions posted about the setup of the property and its proximity to the road. Okay, so here we go. And many of us have already seen these photos right here. And as you guys can see, here's the chicken coop that they said, the camper that is, I was hearing it was his brother, but it's his mother. I've been hearing his mother stays on the property. This whole backyard is fenced completely in. So it's making it very difficult. There's a close-up of the sliding glass door. If you guys have not seen it, there's no telling how loud or smooth it opens. It doesn't look like it's well taken care of. So again, that's all I can say. I can't say anything about the sound of it. But there you go, and there's the proximity to the road. Now, I know there's got to be a post here somewhere because I remember reading it. Maybe it's this one. Okay, this one I really like. It kind of breaks down a few things. It's from this person called Corey DeWitt. I don't know who that is. Never met the person. Don't know if it's just somebody talking about the case or somebody that is like me. Here we go. Maybe I can get that a little bit bigger. There we go. The disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan has spawned numerous unsubstantiated accounts. It is essential to rely solely on verified information and refrain from disseminating speculative content. A summary of circulating reports is provided below. Increased police presence. Unsubstantiated local reports indicated heightened police activity at the Sullivan residence, including additional vehicles, removal and search of the porch, and examination of the interior and beneath the home. Although these measures have not been officially confirmed, such investigative procedures are standard protocol as authorities pursue all leads. Parents' silence. It is believed that the children's mother has been advised against communicating with media and is maintaining a low profile. While not officially confirmed, it is likely that both parents have been advised to refrain from public commentary during the ongoing investigations. Neighbors' claims. An anonymous source message widely shared alleges that a neighbor reported a high number of visitors on the property prior to the children's disappearance. The message claims the neighbor was unaware children resided there and suspected illicit activity. There are no evidence to corroborate the validity of this claim. It is crucial to differentiate between speculation and verified facts in sensitive cases like this. In order to maintain the integrity of the investigation and demonstrate respect for all parties involved, the focus should remain on locating Lilly and Jack Sullivan and keeping their case active. And I agree with that. One of the things that we are going to talk about is the fact that there is rumors of this party at their house. And one thing I did not take into consideration is how long Daniel and Malaya, whatever her name is. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I know I got it right. One of the other, it's one or the other. But how long they were hungover for, or out of commission, or in bed. Because, what if, like I said, I think it's the whole thing with the backpack has me kind of perplexed. I don't know if you guys have heard me, watched my show about this specific topic. And I find it really odd that Lily's backpack is missing. And I said that, especially if she was homesick and wasn't going to school that day, why would she be grabbing her backpack? And in this particular situation, somebody had brought up a post, and I'll get to it. I've got still several more posts that we're going to get to before we end the show. And one of them was questioning how long they were hungover, and, maybe Lilly and Jack got up and were heading to school themselves and missed a bus and, got into a car with a perfect stranger thinking they were going to school and never made it to school, obviously, something along those lines. That could be probable. That could be possible, and it could be probable, a situation like that where the parents, but again, it really does. And I've said this when I brought up this house party once before. I said, we don't know if that, whether that's happened or not. We can't corroborate that. If anybody can, please reach out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com, because that will give us some insight on the possibility of a third party being around, whether or not it happened one day or the other. It could be a situation where the mom and the stepdad thought they were in the house, maybe heard some things because of the cold weather, the hot weather. In wood houses, things have a tendency of making noises. It just does. It could be a situation where they thought they were there and they were not there. That's a concern for me as well, because we're hearing that there were substances found inside the home. So we know that there is a possibility, that there is a strong probability that both of these parents, or at minimum one or the other, utilized some type of substance. So depending on what type of substance it was, how hungover would they have been, and would they have slept through an entire day and didn't realize that they slept through an entire day? That's the point I'm trying to make. And Simply Stranger, I've been following Simply Stranger for a little while on X, and just ask certain questions and make certain points. And this one says, I don't quite understand how they know what the children were wearing if they never got up to attend to them before they left the house. And, again, it does come back to how we feel about this case. And it really does come back to these weird oddities and statements that the parents are making that make us question their truthfulness. And it's 4 simple facts just like this. How can you say that you didn't see them, you didn't get up, you were attending to your toddler, your 16-month-old child in the room while you were in bed, and, in the same sense, turn around and say exactly what door they walked out of, and that they were playing in the backyard, and that they disappeared with XYZ. Like, how do they know that if they never tended to the children that morning? That's their statement. They've never tended to the children that morning. The children were in there. They heard them speaking. They heard them moving about. And they fell back asleep. And when they woke up, there was no noise in the house like the kids were playing. They got up. They frantically looked. And the children were gone. So how did they know what they were wearing? Or what they took with them? It's a legitimate question to ask. But again, it doesn't speak to any specific, situation, because if it comes down to a house party being there, that opens the door to more possibilities. So I'm very eager to find out if this party did in fact happen. So again, if you know, bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com.
To Canada. I just reviewed everything that's been released so far about this case, and there's still so much that doesn't add up and so many red flags. I wrote down a list of questions that I have, and I'm going to read them to you because I'm sure a lot of you have the exact same questions. 1, where do they work? Because both of them were apparently still in bed at 10 o'clock on a Friday morning. Do they not have jobs, or were they just both off that day? 2, they said the kids didn't go to school on Thursday. Lily was sick. She had a cough. Did they not set an alarm on Friday morning to check and see if she was well enough that she could go to school?
Good point.
If she was better, then why didn't she go to school? And if she wasn't better, then why didn't somebody get out of bed to take care of her? 3, if she was still sick, would she really want to play, especially outside? 4, there were 3 kids, Lily, who is 6, Jack, who is 4, and their daughter, who is 18 months old. Did nobody get up and feed these kids breakfast?
Another good point.
5, they had made mention of what the kids would have been wearing that morning. Did they help them get dressed, or did these little kids dress themselves? 6, if they were really asleep, then how do they know the kids went out the back door to play? How do they know they didn't go out the front? In case you missed it the other day, this is a picture of the backsliding door. And as you can see, there's actually 2 doors in the back. So how do they know they went out the slider and not that one over there? or the front of the house. The mom specifically said they went out the back sliding door to play, but they were unaware of it at the time. How do they know it was that door? Especially when Daniel says when the kids would go out that door, they would always leave it open and he'd have to remind them to close it. But this time it was closed. So what makes her think they went out that door?
Good point.
7, if they truly believe the kids were abducted, why are neither of them on TV begging and pleading for their safe return?
Another good
8,
point.
why on earth would the mother have left to go stay with family in a different county in the province? The stepfather has stayed back. He's doing all the interviews, but nobody has seen anything from her since that very first interview. People are saying that she left because she was told to, and that she's not talking to anybody because she was advised not to, which honestly doesn't make any sense to me. This isn't a criminal investigation. It's not like she's scared to talk because anything she says can or will be used against her. And I don't know about you, but if my children were missing, especially if I thought that they were abducted and somebody had them, I would be speaking to everybody that would possibly listen to me, because I'd want the entire damn planet to know my children's faces, their ages, the fact that they're gone, and the fact that I will not stop until I get them back.
Very, very, very good points. And it comes down to stuff like that, that makes us question whether the mom or stepfather may have culpability in that. And that person, I saw somebody write in there, who is that speaking? It's Abby Lynn 0715. Abby Lynn 0715 on TikTok. I've just now, from this case has learned about her, and I really like how she speaks about the case as well. But again, we don't have a lot of information here. They do live in a desolate place. And again, it comes down to this house party situation, because there's a lot of things that could be said about this house party depending on when it happened. Was it Tuesday night? Was it Wednesday? If it was Wednesday, could that be why they didn't go to school on Thursday? Because mom and stepdad were hungover and just didn't get them up? Or what, did something happen that night where something happened to the children, where they got themselves hurt because the parents weren't paying attention, or they got into something they shouldn't have gotten into, something to that effect. Not all in the ER at Ann Penn are in on it. The officer that wouldn't told me I couldn't see my daughter until after she just became a detective. A few words are missing there. I didn't quite understand the full gist of that, Tammy. Oh, hey, Astrology for the Mystics. It's nice to see you. Not sure which chat she went into last night. Said he was the 2 women with short hair. She waited for police and no one will come. Cameras all around. Hopefully FBI will pull footage. Not sure which one that one was for, but footage is great. That's why it's so hard in 2025, knowing that there are some places out there that don't have the basic infrastructure such as internet. Like, this is 2025. Internet should be everywhere at this point. I mean, it was invented in 1994. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been around a while at this point. Trials, cases, and crime says something doesn't add up. Lilly and Jack Sullivan vanished within 20 minutes. 2 young children, ages 6 and 4, quietly slipped out of a house without waking anyone. At least that's what their parents say. But the details raise serious questions. The yard was more secure than described. Could 2 neurodivergent children really get out so quickly without a trace? Sliding doors make noise, yet the door was found shut. If everyone was asleep, how do you know that's how they left? Scent dogs followed their trail, but only to the end of the driveway. The timeline doesn't match. The stepfather says he searched for hours before calling police. The mother claims she called right away. So which is it? And if the kids had truly wandered off, wouldn't they have heard their names being screamed, especially by someone yelling so much he lost his voice? No signs of foul play, no solid evidence of them walking off, just missing children and a growing list of inconsistencies. Where is Lilly and Jack? What really happened that night? We can't ignore the questions. We shouldn't. The truth matters, and those kids deserve it. So again, more information, or questions, I should say, from a lot of people that are taking note of this case. And it is a very interesting and a very perplexing case, but we also can't severe negligence. Anne Elizabeth, I would say that this would, even though they didn't really have CPS in their household, hearing that there were substances found inside the home, hearing that she's a stay-at-home mom and he works at the mill, maybe one day a week. There's a lot to be said there. There's no drive from them. I'm thinking, the internet, the World Wide Web, I guess I should say, maybe not the internet. The World Wide Web was put together in America in 1994. That's correct. Where was the question? Hold on here. There, severe neglect. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. And even though the CPS wasn't involved, the information we're hearing would leave me to believe that that's a great possibility that there was severe neglect. Now, they didn't have a Department of Children and Family Services involved, or an equivalent there in Canada involved in this family, as far as I can tell. So we're not dealing with a situation like we dealt with in Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, Quentin Simon's case, where they were involved and should have taken the kids, chose not to, and then the kids ultimately disappeared. I wonder if 18-month-old was stepdad's child. That's what I'm hearing, is that's the stepchild. That's their child, their common child together. Which puts another complexity to it. Like, the only children that disappeared were the two that didn't belong to him. So, I mean, I get why everybody's saying that. But again, if we had a house party and say they were hungover or they did lose a day, and trust me, I know a lot of people don't think it's possible. It is very, 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 very possible that they lost a day and didn't even realize it if they're on certain types of substances. So, that does matter. And if they did, then is it possible the reason why the backpack's missing is because she tried to be the big sissy and get her and her brother up and head to school, and mom and dad were passed out, so they just left, and somebody saw them at, maybe they missed the bus and somebody saw them on the side of the road and scooped them up. I mean, we can't look past it. Now, I don't believe law enforcement believes anything like that, or even thinks that it's a high probability, because if they did, they would have had or forced some type of Amber Alert out, about the kids. They seem to think, either like many of us do, that something is just doesn't sound right with the story being said by the parents, and because of that, I think that, I don't know. the mom leaving to me is like the biggest red flag ever, right? So it when I hear moms leaving the area, it doesn't matter for what circumstance, if they were kicked off the property or whatever, but not being there every single day, that just tells me there's more here. Whether people want to believe it or not, I don't really care. I don't answer to other people. For me, I'm talking about just for me. That tells me that there's more going on there. Because normal moms just don't act that way. And if you think normal moms act that way, I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry for you. But every mom and grandma I know would give their life up to their children, let alone be told to get off a property where they disappeared from. You know what? Think again. Think again. So, I don't know. All right, guys, all you beautiful moms, I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. I just wanted to come on here. I haven't been on here all day. I am exhausted, though. I'm very, very, very exhausted. So I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. I'm glad that one thing is off my shoulders, and it's a little crazy right now because now we have a lot of different cases that need our attention. So we need to start working on these cases. And let's not forget about Janiyah either. Janiyah McMichael, she's out there, 13 years old, now 14, been missing for quite some time from Gary, Indiana. I don't want to forget about her. She needs to be found. Lots of babies. Lots of babies out there. Lots of babies out there. It's sad. All right, guys, I love you. God bless you. Have a great evening, and we'll be back for Manic Monday, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. See you then.